by Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is our Expansions News podcast for the second week of May 2015. And wish everybody a happy Mother's Day week, those of you in the countries that celebrate now. I have just a few stories to talk about. Interesting, I think, because today there was a listing of the 10 dumbest states for education.
And that's what you choose to lead off the news with?
Yes, because I think some of our listeners and clients and readers would be interested in this. And I'm going to go, and this was documented by an organization I never heard of called Wallet Hub. And they use the U.S. Census Bureau for Education to figure this out. Now, I will start with the 10th dumbest and lead up to the first dumbest. So the first...
I'm sorry, people.
So the 10th dumbest is the state of Kentucky. Yes. Then number 9 is South Carolina. 8, Arizona. 7, Arkansas. 6, West Virginia. 5, New Mexico. I was surprised at that.
I'm not even going to comment.
Yeah. What was that, 5? So, yeah, 4 is Nevada. It's because they're always gambling and drinking, I guess.
I'm not commenting.
Number 3 is Louisiana. I think they got too many hurricanes and sinkholes, that's why. And sinkholes are up here. Number 2 is Alabama. Well, shut my mouth. And number 1, the dumbest state in the United States for education, Mississippi. Not only is Mississippi the dumbest in education, it also has the fattest people, the most unhealthy people, and the least possibility to succeed in life. Hey, I didn't make this up. This is on the news. So of course it has to be true, right? Yeah, and isn't it interesting that in the middle of Mississippi is ISIS?
I brought that to your attention, I believe.
Yeah. So now let's go on to something a little different. Now for something completely different.
Did you take your altar pill this morning?
No, I forgot my medication. Anyway, you know about that Ebola stuff that was going on the end of 2014, beginning of this year as well? Well, the American doctor who was affected by Ebola and was flown home to the United States so that he could infect everybody here, Dr. Ian Crozier, who was declared free of Ebola, finally found out just this week that one of his eyes, he has blue eyes, and one of his eyes turned green, which indicated the virus was in his eyes. So apparently, Ebola makes your eyes turn green. Isn't that interesting? So they've done things to his eye to get the Ebola out of there. And it's an Ebola eye. Ebola. Yeah, can't make this up, people. But what's also interesting is that Liberia, which was the center of Ebola, has been declared Ebola free. Well, isn't that interesting? Since last year, the end of last year, they said there would be millions of people affected and killed by Ebola in West Africa and would spread all over the world, and now it's gone.
Which we predicted.
Because it doesn't exist. But, know what else is interesting is that there are doctors now in West Africa who are treating Ebola with the HIV drug, which is a very interesting connection. I've mentioned this before, which indicates they both are manufactured illnesses based on the same virus. Ebola and HIV, they are the same thing, different manifestations of the same man-made disease. Now, talk about Michigan. And we know we love the state because we live here. But this past week, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on here.
Everything weird happens in Michigan.
But I'll tell you, I've never seen a week where so many things have happened in a short period of time here in Michigan. Of course, the week started out with the earthquake. And then they found naked people, including a little baby, naked at a rest stop in the middle of the night. Nobody knows why they were naked, and they were just walking down the road from the rest stop.
In Michigan.
In Michigan. It's kind of cold to do that, isn't it?
Yep.
Then they arrested a teacher,
Wow.
a female teacher, for having sex with a female student.
Right here in St. Joseph.
Right here in St. Joseph.
That was amazing.
That
She made the UK news even.
Made the international news. Then, same week, a state senator fired a shotgun in his house at his girlfriend. This same state senator was given the Legislator of the Year award and also another award last year for being a great politician. And so now they're looking for him.
They haven't found him?
No, he ran. Then, also just yesterday, a lawyer in Flint, Michigan, was going to run for office, but something happened with the registration and all that, so he got so angry that now he wants his pig to run for mayor, because he said the pig would do a good job. If you've ever been to Flint, I would agree. Now, continuing, not far from us in Grand Rapids, there is a woman with 12 sons who is now pregnant with her 13th child and hoping it's a girl. People, really, you need to stop like after a few. And finally, not a good story, but right here in Michigan, 2 people were shot at a party, and they're looking for those people as well. Mm-hmm. So all of that happened this week, so you know what that tells me?
What?
Something's going on around here.
Well, duh.
Yeah. So you're on.
I'm on?
Yeah.
All right, well, mine are interesting.
Well, I thought mine were interesting, especially Mississippi being so dumb.
Anyway, I want to kind of pick up where we left off last time on Princess Kate.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. One, I had mentioned a couple weeks ago about the idea that Princess Diana had a cloned child, or not a clone, but an IVF child, I think that's the term. And of course that story has been dropped, which I found
it is.
Can't find anything on the news about that.
No. So that's a clue, might be true.
Exactly. And plus it might make people think too much about what happened with Kate. And so this was interesting because these are things that I was actually saying, and some people laughed at me, but here there's a Russian...
I laugh at you all the time.
I know. A Russian pro-Kremlin newspaper makes the same series of allegations that I was talking about. So I just wanted to go down a couple of these.
Yeah.
One of them says that all Russian women are saying it was impossible for the Duchess to look so good. Some said the baby had actually been born several days earlier and kept secret, which is something that we had said. Some said that that Kate wore a fake pregnancy belly and a surrogate mother actually carried the baby, which is always possible. I said the same thing. She might have even thought she was programmed to think she was pregnant. And apparently the May 2nd is the birthday of Catherine the Great of Russia.
Oh.
And so again...
Who wasn't Russian, by the way.
And what was she?
She was German.
German. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, it says that this paper says that the Duchess of Cambridge put the health of her daughter at risk for the sake of her subjects by appearing in public too soon. Another wrote, look at the baby. She does not look like a newborn at all. She is at least 3 days old.
At least.
And then, let's see. It's not possible to walk yourself several hours after birth and wave to the public. And you know, and on this link, there is a very short clip of Princess Kate with the baby. And so I looked at her and watched this, so it's a minute and a half. I think you should look at it. But as she's walking with this baby in her arm, and a few people said that maybe, and I had said this before, maybe it's not even a real baby. Because first of all, if you're a newborn mother, you feel very protective towards your child. So you don't sit there with it hanging on your arm, waving and playing with your hair.
With its face exposed to the elements only hours after birth.
Exactly. And the other thing I noticed about the baby, there was not a twitch. There was not a movement, a twitch, an arm kick, a leg, nothing. So again, which leads me to think that maybe it was not a real baby, that was a false baby.
Or maybe, reptilians don't move very much.
Well, there's just, I just thought that was so bizarre. And in the pro-Russian paper, the pro-Kremlin paper, I should say, went on to say there's no special maternal look in Kate's eyes. This natural thing is not visible. Look at Diana. This Kate is just an actress from Buckingham Palace Theatre. She never even gave birth. So I just thought that was very interesting. And then a Moscow gynecologist advised Russian women not to follow Kate's example. And she advises that women should be in the hospital 3 or 4 days afterwards to make sure the mother's okay and the baby's okay. And then she also went on to say a crowd of people is not a sterile environment.
Correct.
So I thought that was all very interesting.
Especially in London, which is a dirty, filthy city with air pollution.
That's what I said. It's not the behavior of a protective new mother.
The whole thing looked odd and staged.
Yes, that's exactly
well, it was staged
correct.
anyway.
It's always staged. But I mean, it's interesting that the Russian paper picked up because I think they're watching my news.
I tell you, people, Russian news has more accurate news than the rest.
Yeah. Okay, then this was an interesting story. This says that the Pope is actually a Jew.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And this is a long article, so I'm not going to read a lot of it, just a little snippet here. But anyway, apparently there's a website out that discredits Pope Benedict XVI, who says he's not just, he is a Jew, but not just any Jew, but a Jew who is descended from a golem-fashioning sorcerer.
That makes sense.
Which makes him, in fact, the Antichrist. So that was interesting. So then she said, this author, when she dug a little deeper, she found another set of websites devoted to discrediting Pope Benedict XVI for being Catholic. Because according to a site like this, Adolf Hitler was a member of the Catholic Church, which I didn't know. And they said that the Catholic Church turned a blind eye to Hitler's murder of 6 million Jews, and then they never excommunicated him. And therefore the Catholic Church is complicit in the Holocaust.
That's interesting.
Which makes all Catholics, and especially the popes, evil and even possible Antichrist contenders. So I found that interesting story. Now listen to this one. You remember Michelle Bachmann?
Oh, of course, from Minnesota.
Okay. She says that the rapture is coming, we should rejoice.
Yay!
Quote, we get to be living in the most exciting time in history. She urged fellow Christians to rejoice. Jesus Christ is coming back. We in our lifetimes potentially could see Jesus Christ returning to earth, the rapture of the church. And this is continuing to quote her. She says, we need to realize how close this clock is getting toward the midnight hour. Barack Obama is intent. It is his #1 goal to ensure that Iran has a nuclear weapon.
Ooh, that's fighting words.
Yes, she said that Obama intends, quote, to lift up the agenda of radical Islam, and added that legal abortion and marriage equality for gays and lesbians are bringing about divine punishment on America. She continues, quote, you are right. She says, lamenting that God will soon lift his hedge of protection over pagan America.
We have a hedge of protection?
And we will suffer the consequences as a result, unquote. Now, this person, and again, it's a lengthy article, you can read it for yourself, but it says the prominent members of one of our 2 national parties firmly believe that Israel must be destroyed to bring about the second coming of Jesus Christ, and get genuinely excited by anything they see as potentially advancing this agenda. But however, it tends to not get much attention because it sounds too implausible to be real. But this author says it is real.
But you know what else just
is real.
Came in my head?
What?
The rapture.
Yes.
Sounds like raptor.
Oh, dinosaur. That's interesting. That's possible.
And you know what else? Because in one of those books, information I read, it said the Catholic Church is preparing for a reptilian savior.
Oh.
So raptor makes sense.
That is very interesting to start to imprint that frequency.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. So just watch, and things we say that sound bizarre even to us, but these are the trends. It always comes
true sooner or later.
We find that happening. Okay, now then listen to this one. This is about Australia's Prime Minister's advisor. Let's see, that his chief business advisor accuses the United Nations of using debunked climate change science to lead a new world order.
Interesting words.
Yes, provocative claims made to coincide with a visit from the top UN climate negotiator. Apparently this fellow's name is Maurice Newman. And he said the UN was using false models showing sustained temperature increases to end democracy and impose authoritarian rule.
Absolutely correct.
Quote, the real agenda is concentrated political authority. Global warming is the hook. It's about a new world order under the control of the UN. It is opposed to capitalism and freedom and has made environmental catastrophism a household topic to achieve its objective, unquote. So that was very interesting.
Right.
This was just posted May 8th.
Well, good for Australia.
Now listen to this one. This was an article that says the Earth is doing just fine. They said, we touched upon it, but I put this link in the article, and I want to delineate these because I think it's too important not to pass up. That natural resources are more abundant and affordable today than ever before in history. That energy, the master resource, is super abundant. Our air and water are cleaner. Birth rates have fallen by about 1/2 around the world over the last 50 years. Global per capita food production is 40% higher today than as recently as 1950. The rate of death and physical destruction from natural disasters or severe weather changes has plummeted over the last 50 to 100 years. Loss of life from hurricanes, floods, heat, droughts, and so on is at or near record lows. So they're saying the Earth is doing fine, which is what you and I have been saying all along. The Earth knows what it's doing. If it doesn't like us, it's going to get rid of us. So, and it's just reflective of the mind patterns of the people that are here.
Yeah, and I also read this morning that I forgot which global service said that the first quarter of 2015 was the hottest on record. They didn't live in Michigan.
That's what I was going to say. They didn't experience our winter. Now, then there's another theory out called the hologramic theory, of course, which we've talked about that before. But for the first time, it says scientists are actually proving that we might be living in a hologram. They said a holographic principle suggests that there is a 2D surface that we cannot see, but the surface contains all the information needed to describe and project 3D objects. So now they're going through a model, which they claim proves this. These are researchers in Austria. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And this next one I thought was extremely interesting. This is about a nationwide campaign for parents to take their kids to parks and leave them and have them walk home on their own.
Brilliant.
Apparently, now I'd never heard of this one. It's called Free Range Kids. And apparently they've been doing this for the past 5 years, which again I never heard of, so if they did or they just brought this forward.
Cancel the disappearances.
It's called Take Our Children to the Park and Leave Them Their Day. Now that sounds like real loving parents, doesn't it?
That's sick people.
Apparently, Alexander and Danielle Mietiv of Silver Spring, Maryland are fighting a finding of neglect by Child Protective Services because they let their 10-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter walk home alone from local parks. So somebody saw them, called the police picked them up, and then the children were turned over to Child Protective Services.
As well they should be.
So anyway, I just thought this was, they're calling this Empower Kids, and they say
no, this is called Have Kids Be Taken by Pedophiles. That's what it should be called.
And other things, other types of, unfortunately,
these are sick people.
And I had just never heard of such a thing, and I'm thinking, yeah, there's no way I would let my...
No, even 15-year-old I'd watch them.
Well, you know what? Even today, I think with everything going on, I think it's important that people stay together and to have an adult present and to look at your environment. I mean, before I get in my car, I look under it, around it, over it.
There was just a story the other day in California of a 13-year-old girl came home and a man pushed the door and tried to rape her.
Yeah. That's
going her own home.
That's right. So that's what I said. This is unbelievable to me. So yes, in my opinion, these parents are guilty of
someone should drop them in a park and leave them there.
Terrible. So anyway, don't let your children out and wander alone. I don't know what kind of imprinting they're trying to do. Other than, take you away from your family, isolate, divide and conquer.
No, this is a dangerous planet.
So be very, very mindful of your children. And it's interesting, I think it was even your mother who said, if you wouldn't leave a diamond somewhere, don't leave your children.
That's
and
right.
I absolutely agree.
She never said too many brilliant things, but that was one of them.
That was a good one. It's true. If you're not going to leave your purse or you're not going to leave your diamond with somebody, don't leave your children.
Absolutely.
So anyway, really interesting world. And then this one was interesting. So I've been reporting on it. It's a little bit on the stranger side.
Oh, no fooling.
But it's about a bodybuilder, 25 years old. I believe he was in Brazil.
Yes.
And he decided that he wanted to be like Hulk,
Yeah, I saw that story.
And so he injected synthol and alcohol into his biceps to try and to become a real-life version.
I think he went to school in Mississippi.
Anyway, apparently he did, his biceps and everything got huge, but the issue is they were so swollen that he made him very sick. It made him insane.
He must have lost his arms.
Yes, and so he actually made an appointment to go into the hospital to have his arms amputated to save his life. But once they opened him up, they found out they could actually take out. Well, no, not drain. It had become like rocks. So they actually were able to cut the synthol out of him. And so it made him more back to normal appearance. But this is the interesting thing beyond that. Then he said 2 weeks ago, this is a recent article, 2 weeks ago, I bought a substance called Estigor. It's a horse hormone. So he put the needle in his chest, and then he sucked in the air to see if he got a vein, but nothing came out, so he froze and he started to sweat. So first of all, he injected himself with this synthol, and then he went to this horse hormone. And then the interesting thing, he says he wants to be a professional bodybuilder still, but he wants to stay clean. But he says, I still feel like taking synthol, but I won't take it again. If you take it once, there will definitely be a second time. I regret it a lot, but my ambition is still to become a bodybuilder, and I know what I will achieve.
I think that there's not much up here.
Well, the issue
He
is
needs to build this part
the thing
of his
is
body.
people are injecting a lot of things into their bodies now. Whether it's a lot of you I know are tattooed, and of course we have a little bit of disagreement between us, but I don't believe in tattooing, putting that in your body. They're doing lots of things. The women are putting, concrete in their bottoms.
What about the guy that injected Vaseline into his penis?
Yes, and I think I remember, did he lose it or almost?
Almost. They had almost lost it there.
And they inject everything in your face and your lips and, so on and so forth. And my feeling is, why do you want to be injected with all this stuff?
Why do you want a Kardashian butt?
Why don't you just be who you are?
Exactly.
Instead of what they want you to be. So think about what you were given naturally and work on enhancing that naturally.
I think these people have superhero programming,
yes.
and so they want to look like something they're not.
But even, the other things that for example, we talked about the women whose feet didn't fit into the high heels, so there were doctors who would amputate their toe. And so
take ribs out so they can wear. Yeah.
And the thing is as I said to you, I said this after the podcast, but it costs like $1,500 to $2,500 to take off a little toe. Why not just get shoes built to, that kind of money to fit your foot instead of trying to fit your foot into the shoe? I mean, something's wrong.
Who cares about your shoes?
Well, exactly. So you need to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And this is what Stewart and I are teaching you to do. Find out who you are, because a lot of people don't even know who they are. And be the best that you can at what you were given. Find out what's inside of you and bring that out. Don't go with these false ideas.
Well, I do see a lot of things on the internet now about men should have dad bods, like not the the bodybuilder type of dad bods are a little plump and
they're doing that with women too.
And women with plus sizes and bikinis and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're trying to make it look that way while they're guiding you into something else. So I just think all of this is really bizarre. It's programming, it's mass programming, it's specific programming.
It's just stupid.
There's a lot of things going on, and it is stupid. And I don't even like to use that word.
Well, I'm sorry, but people are stupid out there.
Well, I'm not going to say people are stupid, but you're buying into the programming, and this is why we're doing what we're doing, is help you buy into who you are and into your internal feelings rather than rely on external stuff to make you feel good.
Nobody cares what you look like. You have to feel good about yourself. That doesn't mean that you eat sugar and cake and blow up. But
you're not if you feel good. People who eat like that, it's because they're trying to fill holes within themselves. So we teach you self-worth, self-esteem, all these things that you need, and we want you to stop the abuse. Doing these things to your body is abusing yourself. It is self-punishment.
It is.
So anyway, with that said, we just finished a great webinar on mothers, mother issue,
really
mother
amazing
imprint.
one.
So that will be up on our pay-per-view soon. If you missed it, I'm sorry. It was great.
It was really good.
We have one on the father issues coming up.
In June.
And we already have people signing up, especially the ones who took the mother's issue.
Yeah, that's the other half.
They're already on there.
So if you haven't heard the mother one, sign up and listen to that, and then sign up for the father one.
Yeah, and then the Addicted to Addictions, that will be on our pay-per-view soon. That's also something that's important. We have our radionics workshop
in August.
A
lot of people are signing up for that one already.
Yes, and we're building boxes specifically
homemade.
according to our specifications, so that you cannot get these anywhere else on the internet.
And I've been using them on clients, and they are reporting within hours that they feel better.
So if you can't make it to the workshop, we do have the remote sessions. We do have to tell you that by law, that is for entertainment purposes only.
Right.
So we're telling you this. It doesn't mean we have to believe the law, but we have to tell you the law, so you are aware of that. Then we have a most amazing seminar coming up here in St. Joseph in October, Hidden Histories and Mysteries, Digging Deeper. Because as you dig deeper within, then the outer world has to reflect that back, and all the hidden histories and mysteries are unveiling and revealing. And what's so interesting is on your travels, the same thing is happening. As you've been doing your inner work, the stuff that comes to you, the information that comes to you is given to you by a variety of people all over the globe is amazing. Yeah. And you're going to be presenting this in October to our audience.
Correct.
Right? We're going to have Dr. Samir Osmanagic, discoverer of the Bosnian pyramids, will be here with his latest discoveries in preparation for our tour to Bosnia in summer of 2016. Plus Mary Sutherland, who is paranormal researcher, paranormal tour director, paranormal author. from Burlington, Wisconsin, will be presenting some of her findings, and she posted on my Facebook page that she has a petrified finger of a giant that she's bringing.
Yes. She better give it back to the giant.
Well, anyway, so we're going to take a look at that. Plus, she said other artifacts, so that's going to be interesting. And she's going to bring some of her people and come with us to Bosnia in 2016, which is
It's going to be an amazing trip.
Yep. And then you have a lot of international things that are getting lined up. Almost too much. I don't know if there's any you want to mention, or they need to go to the website.
It's all being formulated, but as it stands now, it looks like end of August I'll be back in Iceland. Then followed the first week in September in London. And then, most likely after that, Istanbul, Turkey, and Amman, Jordan.
And we also have Poland in there 2 or 3 times,
and then,
I think.
I might be going to Poland in September again, near Krakow. But in October, I will be in Berlin, in Poznan, Poland, and then on to Singapore.
And so we have a lot of things that are, as we said, we're getting formulated. Watch the website, watch the Facebook pages. And the other thing we learned about was a lot of Facebook pages, likes are false, they're phony, they're fake. Well, ours are not.
No.
We are not buying likes. So if but we need you to help us, because if you have 5,000 friends and I have 5,000 friends, and if you each invite 10 friends, we could really get our likes up and they'll be real. I don't want to do fake likes. I don't want to buy likes. So we need your help to get our likes up there. That helps raise us up in the Google search engine for people who are looking for information like this. Please join our site, become a member. We have continually decreased our membership fees since we first started our membership site. As our membership grows, because then we can bring it to you at a lesser rate. We like the membership because people who are serious join. We don't have, a bunch of crap stuff on our site. It's really good stuff. So good people, good participants, great members.
So stay safe out there. Please don't let your children walk home from the park alone.
And don't inject yourself with stuff.
Don't inject your body with all kinds of junk.
Work on your own feelings about how you feel about yourself.
And don't go to school in Mississippi. So on that note, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.